See you guys back. Coming out last week after an open date, real quick injury-wise, I think a couple of those, we've had some minor deals through preseason, and those guys are back practicing now. I don't anticipate roles changing excessively because some of those guys missed 2 or 3 weeks of preseason work, but we got Wes Rogers back and Dawson Fletcher, Danny Friend, and Anthony. So all the guys were kind of Nick Anthony Casaro, they're kind of back and fold, and we came out of the first game with no real major issues, except like I say Tommy Mister and Stephen Funderburg. They had surgeries. Those are the only 2 guys, so kind of pretty good health-wise. I think we tried to take last week and into a little bit of my thing in a preseason development process because the open date was so early. We didn't over-practice. We come out of a 2-a-day mode where you're going 2-a-day, 1-a-day, 2-a-day, 1-a-day, and your mini scrimmages and all that stuff. So it wasn't maybe the work physical side of a preseason where you're trying to just pound your guys and get them tougher. And we did have some contact and had I thought some good physical work, but it wasn't a preseason tough deal as much as a preseason mental deal and how to keep growing and come together as a team. I thought again, like the way we practice and our habits. We're talking to our team about that, and the winning habits that you need that good teams have. I thought the leadership's been good. I think we're moving forward. I think we're progressing. Thought we had a chance to do some corrections on ourselves. Spent as much time looking at IU as much as the upcoming game with Bowling Green or any other opponent. It was really looking again at now that we've played a game and the bullets are flying. Areas of concern. So again, put a lot of time on ourselves. Concentrate a lot on that and trying to keep ourselves on schedules. We're growing. To us, we're kind of back to game week and really kind of kicking off a good stretch here. So it's about building momentum this week. A lot of guys would tell you when you're playing, sometimes you like an open date maybe to get yourself fresh, but if you're playing well, you want to keep going. We did not try to overdo the first game because we knew we were going to have to sit down. So we're trying to build through the first game, through last week, and now get some momentum as we go into a 6-game run. 3 of which are on the road, first 2 on the road and playing some good teams. So Bowling Green this week, 12 o'clock, ESPNU. They're defending MAC champions, 10-3 last year, back-to-back bowl games. They're a winning program with winning habits. They have a new coach. They have a coach that's coming into a situation where they had some success. And there's a lot of good leadership, a lot of good habits, a lot of good things going on. So even though there's a transition, their defensive coaches really have 2 games under their belt. We got 1 here with our new defensive coaches. So if you look about it, I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage. They have a quality program. We knew that a year ago. I'm very fortunate. I go back to, knowing enough about that place, and we're going in Deutsch Perry Stadium. It's a tremendous coach. At Carolina, we played them in 80, I think 3 or 4 there with a guy named McClure, a big quarterback, great player. You go in the Mid-American, you coach for 9 years, you play Bowling Green every year. It's one of the halves of that conference. Always has been, always will be. Go to Northwestern, and with 9/11, which is this week, we lost a game. We had to make up a game, and we played Urban Meyer's Bowling Green team late in November at our place. We crossed them in Northwestern. We go to Oklahoma, and Adrian Peterson's first game, here comes the Falcons into town. And we saw the Falcons, and now you get up here in 2 years in a row with Coach Clausen's team, and now this team. So having worked at 5 D1 schools, I've kind of crossed them as a player and a coach everywhere I've been. So know them, respect them, and it's really about this week. It's not about the past. They're a winning program, great program. It's not about playing the MAC. They'll talk about the MAC has awesome success. It's evident last week. I think the Mid-American won 2 games against Big Ten and had a 3rd one in hand and didn't close it out. Those teams always play well. There are a lot of players that we know from those teams because we recruit them. Real quick, when we look at them real quick, defensively, they're very aggressive to me. The first game kind of got rolling, and Western Kentucky got on a roll, but you can tell from week 1 to week 2, the strides they made, a different opponent, and it was a FCS opponent, but they were more aggressive, more assertive, more downhill, closer in coverage. They got a lot of vets on their team. They've had a few injuries, but they've had guys step in and play well. So a lot of guys we've seen and win against, led by Sutton, their DB, who's from Fishers, Indiana. Their linebacker last week, number 30, Sean, I think his last name's Sen, S-E-N-N. Maybe I'm not saying it right. I didn't see it in their pronunciation guide. He had 13 hits. So a lot of guys back. They're always good up front. They're giving up very little rushing yardage. They did a year ago. They were one of the premier defenses in the country a year ago. Statistically, a lot of those guys are back. They didn't have one good game in an opener, just like we had some numbers in the opener that can skew your stats. maybe that skews them. I think their defense is really salty and very good. Offensively, similar but different in what they've done. They've been a no-huddle team. They've been a spread team. But now with Coach Babers coming in, a background from some Big 12 territory, he was the coordinator at A&M. His background goes back. He was a coordinator at A&M long before I was at Oklahoma. So he's got a great background of NFL and what he's doing. Crossed some paths at Baylor, doing a lot of things that Baylor do. Some things sometimes we try to emulate in our style, but they do it really, really well. Starts with a really good running game. Two backs that are pretty good, averaging over 100 a game. Freddie Coppett, a guy we offered and wanted here, and he chose to go there. So I don't hear the deal that they've got the MAC players we didn't want because they're guys on their team that we offered and we recruited, yet they chose to go there. So I don't hear that stuff about it's a chip on the shoulder week. Trust me, when you're playing here trying to earn your respect, there needs to be a big chip on our shoulder every week. So two good running backs, starts with a good downhill running game. They had an injury at quarterback and another Indiana kid, James Napke from Lures, comes in. Great start. Again, it's all part of their system and package, and it's well coached, and the running game gets going. It's high percentage throws. He's throwing it to some quality receivers. One of their receivers, a guy we recruited, his brother played here my first year, was a quarterback for us. So, again, know a lot of their skilled kids, like some of their young receivers particularly, and a veteran O-line. Their kicking game's outstanding. A year ago, they blocked a punt for us for a touchdown. Last week, they blocked one for a touchdown. Last week, they returned one for a touchdown in the punting game, in the punt return game. And in week one, they returned one, except the guy tripped because he was in the open field gone. Or we'd have back-to-back. So they got a great returner back there. We know their players. We've recruited them. We know their staff. We got a lot of respect. I still come back to I like our team. I like getting started with this team as we really get started now for a great run. So like where we're at. Know we got an awesome challenge. Looking forward to seeing a lot of our fans in Northwest Indiana and our Ohio fans getting over there. And like I say, again, we know this team well because whether it be the Ohio kids we recruit so hard, the Indiana kids, and then they go down and recruit Florida and Georgia just like we do. So it's a lot of kids you know. It's a great program. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's a great opportunity for our team. I'm sure it is for their program, and I know we're looking forward to the preparation and having a good week. We have kind of slowed down a little bit in our practice because I really want our defense to get a lot better in the fundamentals and assignments and all that deal. So we have not majored in ourselves in being as hectic in our practice format because we really want to see our defense make some strides and with the new system and communication, all that. So, we'll try to do it, and at the same time, you're going to see it from week to week. It's a part of football. So, again, their attack is very, very sound, very aggressive, and has the ability to go fast. I do think, though, with the way we're doing things with the referees, it's going. You're going to have a chance to always match up, and it just is what it is. We do it, so they'll see it some. But it come down Saturday, our ability to communicate, get the calls, be sound in what we're doing, be aggressive in what we're doing, and the nature of that offense is try to limit that, and we'll see how it goes Saturday. So, but hopefully I'm sure we'll have a good preparation plan. We'll work together and hopefully be in a good state to play, to have another good outing. It'll be a much different outing for our defense, and look forward to seeing how they rise to the occasion and play this week, or not rise to the occasion, but show up and take advantage of this opportunity they're going to see on Saturday.
Put up 42 points and 600 yards against them last year. How much can you take from that tape with a different coach and a different system?
Hadn't looked at it. No, we did back in the offseason, but this week we're really studying their stuff a year ago and trying to see where they're at and what they've shown in the first 2 weeks. Because even though you did it a year ago, you might have different personnel that you favor more or less. So maybe you blitz more, blitz less, play more man coverage or less, whatever. So maybe you move your alignment more or less. So we're really looking a lot at their thought process and their personnel. Again, we had a great week of preparation last year and knew they were a really good team. I mean, that was a team that beat a BCS caliber team in Northern Illinois who knocked off Northwestern last week. So, we knew that was a good team last year, and we prepared well and came out and played well. And we'll need to do the same thing. So, it's different. It's slightly different structure, so it's really hard to look at. I mean, we've really consumed ourselves with the first two games because, again, we're a different team too.
Kevin, where do you see yourself in terms of offensively, the passing game, and being in sync with the quarterback and receivers? I
think we're working hard at it. Again, we've been getting guys in the right spots, things we want to major in. As you get defended, what's going to be there. So I think we've had a really good week a week ago without overdoing it, but just with sense of urgency and communication and we met a lot together, quarterbacks and receivers. We do that quite a bit, and so, hey, I'm seeing this as the quarterback. What are you seeing? I want to throw it to you here. Do you see the space? Because sometimes in your passing game, what you're doing is you have a concept. That concept is relative to space and where they're at, and there's minor adjustments, the way you settle and choke down and give your body or accelerate through to increase spaces for the quarterback. So we've worked a lot together. I thought we had good preparation last week. We'll need it to be a lot better because we're going to play a defense this week. It's going to really commit to stop the run. It's going to be tough sledding for the run game.
You mentioned Apke. How's he striking you as different or similar to Johnson, the kid that got hurt?
Only one game, and against the opponent, how much did they do? Bigger. The previous guy had decent size. I think James is taller, stands in the pocket, tall, very strong arm. Can make the shots down the field and spit it out quickly with all the quick throws they do, get it in and out of his hand. They didn't do as much in this first game running, and I don't know if it's because maybe they didn't need to, because they just kind of took it right at him with their downhill stuff. You do know that the quarterback run game will be a part of it. They didn't major in that. I know coming out of high school he had an injury to his knee. Is that a part? Maybe they don't have as much depth. I know at Oklahoma one year a quarterback got hurt. All of a sudden we didn't want to get the guy hit as much. So, they have other ways. They didn't get away from their run game. They just didn't maybe do as much with him as they were doing with Matt, but maybe it's because they didn't need it. I'm sure the offense did not change significantly at all. It was kind of the same stuff you see. And like I say, I enjoy watching good football. So, I record or get coach's copy of every Baylor game I can, every A&M game I can, every Oklahoma State game I can, every, if you're good on offense, I like to watch you and just like to study guys. So, when you see their offense, you see a lot of things. When I've studied Baylor the last couple of years, and some things we try to do, although we don't truly run that offense, we run similar things. And like I said, I don't think it changed a lot with James. I didn't see a lot of run, but I don't know if they needed it and didn't maybe want to do it. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that quarterback draw and zone read and power read as they do it.
It's the same kind of stuff you ran at Eastern Illinois, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And again, maybe a little bit different because maybe more four wides or less, maybe more tight ends or less, just based on what's going on. But it is that system, that package. It's a great system, and of course, Coach Babers has a strong background and bringing all the staff with him. So they're in sync, and they started off really, really good. Even the first game, they struggled a little bit first quarter, but when they settled down, they put up good numbers, got rolling. They'll be one of the better offenses, not only in that conference but in the country this year.
Are you happy with the way the team approached the bye week, and are they mature enough to keep everything kind of level on an even keel after the win?
Yeah, for us, because again, I think it's nice we have so many guys that played that the offensive line can look and see, there's a lot of things that were far from clean in the run game. You could take those numbers and say, look at this. I think, Tevin would tell you some things that he missed he really needs to work on. I know Nate and the receivers for sure, and I think defensively, we had some third down opportunities. We had some score zone opportunities. We had chances to get some turnovers. We didn't. Had our hands on the ball. Same in the kicking game. So, I really like this team. I think they're listening. And, again, we didn't over-practice by any means. We specifically showed some things that we thought needed to be corrected. We addressed it. Let's move forward. And I like the way they practiced a ton. We had a couple mental days where we didn't do much. We had midweek, a couple physical days. We did some light work at the end of the week to polish us and get us ready for this game week. But I really like last week's work from our players. I think they're buying into the way we're doing it.
Do you follow the same routine on road games that you always do, or do you change back and forth? I wonder if your plans for this road game are any different from what you've done in any of your previous seasons.
Right now, we're kind of the same. Everybody's different from where you've been, what you do. We typically do as much as we can here, and it's just based on travel time and game time. So, the earlier the kick on Saturday, maybe the earlier you try to get there. We're very fortunate, in our sport, we actually probably miss, I think of all athletic sports, the fewest class days due to travel. This year, I even made it with our administration. We need to have our fall break on an away game. Instead of one, we'd have a better crowd here, but two, that's a day we're traveling, we're missing class. Let's make that, we don't get that day off, and as far as, we're kind of working, doing our stuff. So, we miss very few class days. It would be a day we come in and do our work in the mornings. We don't go super early, let them rest a little bit more, sleep, get, still a little bit of time, get started at 8:30 and go to about 11. typically we go to class from there, and if it's a travel day, it's just, are we getting on a plane? This week, we're just busing a Bowling Green. It's a 4.5-hour drive. So we'll hit the road about, 12:31, 1:30, and get up there about 5 or 6. And home games, we go to a movie. On the road, we let them watch a movie in their room. We'll have a quick team meeting. We do not do a lot of last-minute Friday night work with the team. I think that shows a lot of stress. I think that shows a lot of worry. I remember at North Carolina one time, Carolina was playing Duke, and I saw Coach Smith driving his car to the game because he didn't want to be with the team because he got worried and nervous. He wanted to let them go, and he'd show up, when they're ready to play. So sometimes as a coach, a lot of times, in warm-ups, you don't want to be around them in warm-ups. How many times you see the basketball, the head guy don't even come out. You don't want to watch them shoot. You want them hot. So, there's, it's not superstitions or routines. It's just things you do. I'm just not a big last-minute deal. We kind of do our work at the first part of the week. We front-end load it. Then we talk a lot about Thursday and Friday, mentally what our team needs to do, and from a rest, nutrition, what our team needs to do to peak on Saturday. And that's the only thing we've changed this year is we've changed a little bit of our work on Thursday and our work on Friday, and what we're doing Thursday and what we're doing Friday to try to get our team at a fresher mode. We just tweak some things, whether it be lifting and how we practice and what we're doing to hopefully get our guys feeling fresher and faster on those Saturdays. Question?
Slightly less on Thursday and Friday, or?
We're doing a little bit less on Thursdays and a little bit more on Fridays than we used to do. And just kind of to recover from the practice, then build up for the game. So just talking with some people, flipping around, it's subtle. We didn't change our time, but just from the physical activity and what we're doing, things to jumpstart your body and not be dead-legged or mentally tired. We're talking a lot to our team about their Thursday night habits and things they need to sacrifice. When Thursday night's a great college night around town, hey, we're talking 6 weeks here in a row. We need to give that Thursday night up because there's more what's in your body Thursday night dinner and Thursday night you're playing with Saturday at noon more than what you put in your body on Friday. And so we're talking a lot about things that we need to do. To me, those, when you say winning habits, it's not practice. There's winning habits in your sleep and what you're eating through the week that helps you become a winner. And those are some things we're working hard to communicate and have our team embrace, and I think they are.
You mentioned earlier last week about wanting to get Nate and some of the younger receivers more in sync with one another. I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier. How much closer are they to being kind of on the same page?
Well, and I wouldn't say it's the young, I'd say it's all of them. Hussein's playing outside, so to me, he's still a little bit new out there. Our tight ends are new. So to me, it's just kind of across the board. So, and there's a fine line. We talk about trying to stay fresh. So we got to run our routes as fast as we can. We got to do a lot of it to get good at it. But if you do too much, you get tired and dead-legged, and you're slow. So, if we practice too much, we practice at a pace that's not game speed. And then the quarterback goes to throw the swing route, and all of a sudden he's behind the tilt back, or he's throwing the curl route, and he's not getting out on time. So sometimes it's really doing less reps and doing them faster and at game speed, and make sure that the guys are. We've really tried to concentrate hard to make sure that the quarterback is throwing the balls to the guys he needs to throw to. So he's getting timing with the guys he throws to. In other words, we don't want to throw a go ball to a freshman. We're redshirting if Nate's throwing it. Throw that with one of the young quarterbacks. That kid needs that work, but I don't want that to be Nate's shot. I want that to be with Stoner or with Shane Wynn or one of the guys he's playing. So it's just a little bit more of how you practice it, and we've worked hard at it. And I think we're gaining, but I think hopefully we'll keep gaining throughout the year, every day, every week.
After that, it's just development of you as a head coach, just hitting those kind of areas to where you recognize this is, maybe we change who's throwing that ball to who.
Yeah, I don't know if I've changed as much as sometimes the first year, just trying to see who's in. So now they're in because they're here. Because some of their buddies chose not to be and went by the wayside. There's good buy-in. So initially, sometimes you're doing things hard enough just to figure, like, are you in or out? I had a guy give an analogy the other day on a scale of 1 to 10, are you in or out? He goes, no, it's either yes or no. Hey, did you marry your wife on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 7? No, it's a 0 or a 1. And you married her, and let's go. Right? She's the one. And so, like with this team, these guys are all in. Where before, maybe we were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's like, hey, you guys are in. So now you're just changing some thoughts and practice. Now, that being said, you cannot lose your physical toughness. And I like the way we started. I think we're so much stronger. We're not strong as you need to be, but we are so much more physically stronger. That's why we have the rush numbers we needed, the rush defense we needed. We had fewer mistakes. We have fewer penalties. We're one of the fewest penalized teams. We only had 4 in the first game as a team. Well, when you're strong and you're tough, when you get tired is when you make mistakes and you grab a guy and you hold, or you flinch and jump off sides. So as we have developed our team physically with number one, program development and physical maturity, that being said, it's a different way you practice because your team is more, a part of the way we practice was to physically try to mature them through practice. You don't wait, there is no off season, you're always maturing. Well, part of year one and year two was maturing the team. Okay, we're still maturing now, but physically we're at a place where it's a lot more mental maturity and timing and being in rhythm and sync than it is physical smashing heads all the time. Now, we got to smash enough to hit because you're a boxer, man. If you don't get on the ring and do those gut shots and jabs, and if you can't take punches and you can't deliver, you can't play this game. So there's got to be some contact. We had some contact last week. But shoot, first year we might have won a 2-a-day on Labor Day Monday. This year we took it off and just watched video and gave them Tuesday. And then we practiced hard on Wednesday and Thursday. Gave them a little time to recover from that preseason deal. Had a lot of learning on Sunday and Monday. Learn from the game. See things you're doing. Now let's come out Wednesday and Thursday and really go hard. And then we kind of polished a little bit Friday and Saturday. Now we're into game week.
After this weekend, it seems like the national perception of the Big Ten is probably a little down. I'm just curious on your thoughts on this past week and what was telling about these games.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not into, we got to carry the Big Ten banner because we're a Big Ten team, but my only concern always is just about us. And I want to do our part to continue to try to raise our part in the value of the Big Ten. So, I know we got great coaches, great players, and quote, it's one game. When a team wins or loses, and I like the fact we're getting bigger games. We'll be playing one this week, playing a championship team. Then we go to Missouri, play another high-end team. I like the fact our league's playing good games. We got to continue to do so. You need to win those games, but you got to keep playing them. So those are some decent contests. I guess I didn't sit there and study them. I tried to watch them like a fan and just watch it. But I didn't take it to me as a good day or bad. To me, it was just an Indiana day to me. And we did our work Saturday morning. We brought our kids in Saturday morning, did some work with them, and got them out of here right after lunchtime so they could go watch some games and have the afternoon themselves. So, we started. We had 111 plays in the stadium Saturday ourselves. We tried to do it like that was kind of a mini game day without smashing heads and playing an opponent.
Wasn't Saturday a good evidence of how good the Mid-American Conference?
Excuse me?
Saturday pretty good evidence, though, how good the Mid-American.
Well, I go back to me. I sit here today because in 1995 we went to Evanston, Illinois, and beat what turned out to be the Big Ten champs, because those guys went 10-1 that year. But Coach McCullough's team, as a running back, beat that team. So that Max always had. It goes back to the Sept. It goes back to those guys. Coach Mallory coached at Bowling Green, did he not? It's really about Bowling Green. That's a winning program, and I say that because again, where we're at, we recruit those kids. All those kids on their team, we official visit. They've been here. They've been to camp. We've been to their schools. So I think it's a heck of a game for them, for us, and we got to travel there. That doesn't happen a lot. A Big Ten team going in there, but to me, we got some fans in Northwest Indiana, so it's going to be closer for them Fort Wayne guys to get over there. We got a lot of fans in Ohio that are IU guys. So hope to have a great group of cream and crimson guys in the stands. And but again, it's to me. As a coach, I don't look as much about, I want the Big Ten to do well, but I really want us to do well. I know Coach Babers would say the same thing. He's more excited about Bowling Green and his opportunity this week than representing the MAC. We represent our league, but at the end of the day, you really represent your team and your institution. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's why I say we looked at Saturday as a day for us. And we worried about us and had a little practice work and then let the guys go watch some games. And we're going to move forward this week with what I think is going to be. I thought they were a tremendous team last year. That's why they're the conference champions at one. And we had a great week, and we had to play at a high level. And let's go back to that game too. 600 yards. I remember first and goal getting stuffed twice. Had the ball inside of 10 and didn't score. I remember a crappy first quarter, a block punt that made national TV as one of the bloopers of the week in a 10-10 game. And then we kind of got on a roll and it snowballed. No different than what happened to them in their first game. The team they played got on a roll and it snowballed. That happens in a game. That don't mean you're a bad team. Last year's last year. Like we said, this is a completely different year. I respect these guys. It's going to be a tremendous game. Looking forward to it. Anything else?
You talk about your guys watching games on the bye. Do you want them watching Bowling Green and Missouri, or would you rather the coaching staff present those and have them watch other games?
I think the more they watch, the better. I get mad at them all the time if they're not watching Big Ten Network. If I go in the lunchroom and it's not on a football game, I'm going to put it on. I'm not sitting there watching. I love baseball, but not this time of year. You know, I don't care about watching Sports Center for the 40th time in a row that morning as they keep cycling. I will put a tape game on in the deal. Let's watch football, learn football. It's a great classroom. And you can Google up all the time. And we're trying to get our guys, too. You know, we got iPads and stuff, and we're trying to get our guys, too, to understand as you watch football and learn football, it's better to watch it as a group. So it's better for 3 or 4 of you guys get together and talk about, because you can talk about situations. Man, that was a bad penalty. Why? Well, man, look, it just cost those guys, and the kids are talking about it instead of you just watching the game by yourself. So to me, I mean, the greatest thing these guys got is with all the technology they have a chance to learn and watch. We're asking them to watch games in group and study tapes in group instead of individual, because the game is played as a group. And the more we can bond those guys together, I think the better. So again, I like them watching everybody. I expect them to watch Monday Night Football tonight. You know, as soon as they're done studying, I'd watch that game, because I'm going to be asking them tomorrow what happened in the game. If a guy don't tell me what's going on, I'm like, what's up with you? It's Monday Night Football. I mean, don't you guys have that on your phone? I mean, it's Monday Night Football. You know, it's one of the greatest nights ever. Thursday night. We're going to tell them Thursday, here's who's playing Thursday night. Watch this. We put on our schedule Friday, on our Friday travel schedule, here's the game tonight on TV. Watch these guys play. Learn football. And as young as we've been with so many freshmen, it's always a great opportunity. So we want to watch it all. Appreciate you guys being here.